Hey there, Jorge Coxa here. If you don't know me yet, my name is Jorge Coxa, and I'm the founder of Rescue Love Ministry, dedicated to preventing suicide and ending suicide through preparation, education, and action. Today, I want to talk to you about compassion fatigue and three things that you can do to actually help if you are experiencing compassion fatigue. So, first of all, let me talk to you about what that is. I heard the other day, I was listening to a podcast and somebody was talking about compassion fatigue. And I'm like, what an interesting thought. And basically, what it is you get tired of being compassionate and doing good all the time because it's something that you're doing on a constant basis and because it's at such high quantities and such high levels. And this is usually experienced by healthcare workers, especially right now because of the pandemic. But it can be experienced by people who are working in any kind of service to others kind of roles, if that's their work, if that's their job. So I found that interesting because I served as a pastor in churches for many years, and this actually was the case. I mean, it's very jarring when you go from helping someone at a funeral, and then the very next event on the same day is attending somebody's wedding. So you go from being very sad and helping this person through this difficult situation to you know being very happy for the couple that is getting married. And all of this switching back and forth. What I thought about the compassion fatigue situation was that really people that work with other people and helping other people, we tend to forget sometimes that we need help too, that we need somebody to care for us. We need self-care. We need to be nurtured. We need our needs met. And so I want to touch on that, and I want to emphasize three things that you can do to actually help if you're experiencing compassion fatigue because you're working in a service in this service kind of field where you're helping others. All right. So the first thing that I want to say is number one, hit the reset button. The reset button means that you are that you take some time to step away from everything that's happening, to step away from everything that you're doing and kind of have a refresh, a reset. Now that for you could mean a few hours in the day. You lock yourself up in your room, you do some self-care in that way, and you don't talk to anybody. You just close off for some time. It's just a reset. At that moment, you're taking care of you. It could mean a day at a hotel. You book a hotel, you stay there for a day, you're not in contact with anybody, you turn your phone off, maybe you watch something on TV. That way, again, the idea is to change the environment. The idea is to reset your mind and to reset yourself. And it's incredible how much just a little bit will help. Sometimes when I was working with churches, we would take some time to just unplug from everything. Go away somewhere. We live in Jersey, so to the Poconos, or something like that, where we could get away, reset, not take any calls, not have any meetings, not bring my laptop, not have a computer, and have to work and just reset. So doing this will help you because it's going to get your mind out of the another thing that I have to do. And another point here to really emphasize is that when you are having compassion for somebody, you're wearing what they're feeling. You're experiencing what they're going through. And especially now that we work with suicide prevention and we sit down and have conversations and hear stories of people who have thought about suicide or are depressed or have been anxious or are struggling with anxiety. Like, you experience that with the person because you care about the person, you care about what they're going through, you care about their healing. And because you care so much, you can sometimes wear this the pain that they're feeling. So if that's ever happened to you, just put that in the chat. Just say, I've experienced that. That's happened to me, or just, me too. That's been the case with me. So yeah, so focus on on taking some time to reset. The second thing that I'm going to give you as a tip is don't neglect your self-care, especially when you're doing something that's important. Whenever you're doing something important that is important, and that needs to be done, that it's something that has to happen and that will help somebody. We tend to think, well, it's so important that I need to do this, and all of my attention needs to be on that, and none of the attention needs to be on my own self-care. So I'll forget to take care of my things. I'll forget to do things that will feed me and that will nourish my soul and will give me energy. And a good example of that is your own devotional life. One of the things that my wife and I were commenting on the other day was, she was like, I'm so nourished by my spiritual life. I'm so nourished when I sit down and I journal and I pray and I read the Bible, and I have this moment with God. It nourishes me so much. And sometimes when we're busy, we'll push that aside because it's like, okay, well, I have so many things to do, and these things are so important to do. And so we'll push aside some of the things that are for self-care. But the second tip is don't neglect self-care. If you have a self-care ritual, I want to hear about it. So go ahead and put that in the chat. This is my self-care ritual, and tell us what you do in order to nourish yourself, to nourish your soul. All right. The third tip is to compartmentalize. And, sometimes we look at compartmentalization as something negative, but in this case, it's something good. If you're working in a healthcare field, and you're helping people on a day-to-day basis and hearing all the struggles, it would be good for you to compartmentalize what you are doing and sort of take off work before getting home. And this can be, of course, it's a mental thing, and you're going to do it in that way, but you can also do it physically. For example, if your job is one that requires you to wear a uniform, then before you get home, you take off the uniform before going into the house. And you could develop rituals surrounding that. So I used to work in a place where it was very taxing for me, very taxing emotionally, very taxing mentally. It was a difficult job, and any job working with people is a challenging job. And I was working with people day in and day out. And so before I would go home, I would make it a habit. I had a lanyard and a vest. I would take off the vest. I would take off the lanyard in the parking lot in my car. I would put it in a bucket that wouldn't make it to my house. That those things never made it to my house unless I had to wash the vest. And I would put it in that bucket in my trunk in the car, and it would stay there. And I would do it consciously. I would take off the lanyard. I would take off the vest. I would put it in that bucket, consciously knowing I am taking this off. And I am not just taking off this vest. I'm not just taking off this lanyard. I am taking off this job for now, and I'm putting it down. It's in able hands. Somebody else is in charge of it. Somebody else is doing it, and they're going to do it just fine. Right now, I finished what I had to do. And you take it off and you leave it there, and then you walk away. All right. And that helped me. And you could even say something like, my work is done for today. And that could be part of the ritual. I'm done for today. This is all I'm doing for today. My work is done. And this is going to help to compartmentalize, like I said, to change the focus from being on all the time, because you don't have to be on all the time. Somebody else can also do the job. So these are the 3 tips. First of all, hit the reset button. Do something to stop the rigmarole, to stop the monotony. Number 2, make sure to not neglect self-care. So take care of yourself and do the things that nourish your soul, that nourish your body, that nourish your spirit. And number 3, compartmentalize. Take off work before you get home. Put a stop on this is where I work, and a start to this is where I am home. When you cross a threshold, it's a good way for you to, in a time of transition, it's a good way for you to take that off and leave it behind. If you found these tips helpful, leave it in the chat. Leave which tip do you think is the most helpful. If you work in the healthcare profession, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. These have been difficult times for everyone, but especially for our healthcare workers. Thank you guys have been our heroes in these times. So thank you so much. If you want to say thank you to our healthcare workers, put that in the chat. Just say thank you. Give them a big smiley face or a big thumbs up. And I'll see you in the next video. God bless you and have a wonderful, wonderful day.